mythical creatures of ancient Greece. Introduction. Myths are stories that help people understand important ideas, such as good and evil. Fantastic creatures were important in the Greek myths. Centaurs. Centaurs had a head and chest of human and the body of a horse. The ancient Greeks thought centaurs were different from them because centaurs were animals were driven by their feelings. The stories of the centaurs began with a Greek king named Ixion, who came to live with the gods. Zeus heard that Ixion had fallen in love with his wife. As a test, Zeus made a cloud that looked like his wife. Ixion fell in love with the cloud because he thought it was the wife of Zeus. The cloud gave birth to the first centaur. Zeus then made Ixion spin around and around on a wheel forever. Greeks used pictures of myths to show how they feel about events that were happening at the time. For example, the Greeks connected one of their enemies, the Persians, with the centaurs. Sirens had female human heads and bird bodies. They sang beautiful songs and make sailors crash into their island. Their myths shows that self-control was important to the Greeks. The myth about the sirens say that they had been human mates to the goddess Persephone. One day when she was picking flowers, a god took her, and sirens used their wings to look for Persephone. After they could not find her, they settled on an island. The song of the sirens drew many sailors to their island. Only a few were able to pass them by. One man played music so loud that he could not hear them. Another man was tied to his ship, and his sailors put wax in their ears. Medusa. While the sirens were known for their beauty, Medusa was famous for her scary looks. Medusa and her two sisters were known as the Gorgons. Although Medusa's sister would live forever, humans could defeat her. However, Medusa was able to turn people to stone when they looked into her eyes. The myth about Medusa begins with an evil king. He was in love with the mother and boy named Perseus. To get Perseus out of his way, the king sent him to get the head of Medusa. Perseus had promised to do whatever the king asked. The king did not think Perseus would be able to do this. With some help, Perseus cut off the head of Medusa. From her body came two creatures. Some people think her killing stood for the ending of drought. They think that the creatures stood for the good things that came after a drought ended crops and water. The Minotaur. The Minotaur was another creature that had both human and animal parts. It had the head of the bull and the body of a man. The monster was so scary that it was kept in the maze under the palace of the king of Creta. 7 boys and 7 girls were sent to the mentor. A brave boy named Theseus said he wanted to be one of them. The princess of Crete saw Theseus and fell in love with him. The princess wanted to save Theseus from the Minotaur. She gave him a ball of yarn to tie to a door. He was too unwind it as he made his way through the maze. She also gave Theseus a weapon. After Theseus defeated the Minotaur, he followed the trail of yarn out of the maze. Because bulls were important to the goddess in Crete, they may have stood for Crete in itself. Some people think that Theseus winning his fight against the Minotaur showed that Greeks took over Crete. Typhon. The Minotaur was tiny compared to the giant Typhon. It was the monster with wings, snakes for legs, and 100 heads, one human and the rest other creatures. Typhon stood for the strong forces of nature. Only Zeus, the king of gods, could match Typhon. They battle shook the whole world. Zeus defeated Typhon, then locked him up underground, up under earth. The Greeks blamed Typhon for strong winds. The idea that Zeus was stronger than these forces of nature made them feel better. Conclusion. The Greeks did not put creatures in their myths just to entertain or scare people. These creatures and the myths about them helped people understand the world around them at the time. Mythical creatures were important in ancient Greece. The amazing stories about them are still popular today.